Okay, Sistas fans, we are here to talk about last night's episode. Season 3, episode 21, the penultimate episode of the season, entitled Curveballs. And man, Zach is getting thrown curveballs left and right. I'm surprised he wasn't bruised by all the curveballs thrown at him, both at the beginning, the middle, and the end of the episode. Now, last night, I had a good time tweeting as always, had a great live stream with everybody here on YouTube. But the thing is, even though for the most part I enjoyed the overall pacing of the episode, I was like, oh wow, we're already halfway through the episode. This is pretty interesting. But then it seemed like things seemed to fall apart the moment the girls got to Club Eden. Because I'm like, here we go, where it's just the worst of these characters come out and it makes no sense to me. And I know it seems jacked up, but I'm going to give this episode a 5.5 out of 10. I thoroughly enjoyed last week's episode more. I don't even know if I'm going to do one of my, I've only done it twice, but they've become rather popular with viewers in regards to when I do scene breakdowns, where I pretty much recite all of the dialogue in a standout scene of an episode and pretty much give my impressions on the acting, the emotional reactions of the characters and things like that. I don't really think we got a moment like that in the episode. I mean, I pretty much wrote down a bulk of the dialogue from last night, specifically the Zach and Karen stuff, but that could be summed up as Zach trying to see what Karen wants to do, but Karen being a complete B about it. You know the B word I'm talking about. But yeah, I was originally going to give the episode maybe like a 7, but when I thought about it more, looked over my notes about how many scenes felt, out of place, unnecessary, especially the ending, 5.5 out of 10. But before moving forward in the review, please take a moment to hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Hit subscribe as we close in on 200,000 subscribers, as well as the bell icon to select all. That way you keep up to date whenever I post content on the channel. And to round things out, links to my social media are in the description below. So, Zach is in shock, and before he can even mutter a word, Karen says, "Don't you dare say if it's mine." I mean, you've been with Aaron. I mean, it's fair to ask. One time with Aaron, and it was recently. Less times than you and Fatima, I'm sure. Has anyone not told Karen the saying about, one time being more than enough? I mean, hell, if you watch The Oval, Hunter told Victoria, I regret the day I ever met you. We had sex one time, and then you got pregnant with Jason, and your parents forced me to marry you. So yeah, trust and believe, one time is more than enough. So even in the midst of denying that it's Aaron's baby, she had to throw a jab at at Zach for being with Fatima. Oh yeah, me and Aaron were together, but I'm sure it was far less times than you and Fatima. So Zach goes on to say, so what you gonna do? I don't know. I ain't getting any younger. And Zach just says, look, I need some time to think, because in the midst of this, Karen's like, do something more than saying, okay. What? I mean, like Zach said, I need some time to think about this, because you literally just dropped a bomb on me just now. And even before he can say anything half the time, Karen's like, you better not say this and you better not say that. So what exactly do you expect him to say? So all Zach can say is like, oh shit, Fatima. And you can see the look on Karen's face. I don't know. I don't really think I'll do a scene breakdown on this, because it was good until Karen just really got bitchy. So Zach's like, look, don't be offended, but I'm just asking, are you sure you're pregnant? I missed my period. And she didn't take a pregnancy test, and he leaves to go get her one. Pam asks if everything is okay, but Zach ain't got time for that. He just bolts. And then she goes back there to check on Karen. And she just notices that Karen is sad, and Karen just tells her if you could just leave, I want to be alone right now. If I were Zach, I would have been pissed off because, and I tweeted this. I said, wait a minute, how does she know she's pregnant if she didn't take pregnancy test? And I put an asterisk. I'm a guy, so please excuse my ignorance about this. And a lot of people said, they were like, well, yeah, I mean, if she missed her period, she could assume she's pregnant, but missing your period doesn't automatically mean that you're pregnant. That could be attributed to many other things. And she goes on to say, if I ever had a baby, I would have wished it was yours. And then Zach is like, are you sure about that? And if you remember episode 1, because I did a video on this recently, when Karen was in the doctor's office, she was there to get the test results of STD because, Zach had cheated on her. Because in the past, he gave her something that she needed antibiotics to get rid of. But thankfully this time, she got a negative test back. And then, we learned in the first episode, and like I said in my other video, I completely forgot about this because this was October 2019, over 2 years ago, when we learned that Karen is 36 years old. And I'm like, what? And she's like less than 10 years younger than that in real life, I believe. But regardless, Karen is told by the doctor that, well, I don't know if you're planning on having children, but just know that we have many different options if you want to freeze your eggs or anything like that. Keep in mind that women who are 35 and older have a much higher chance of pregnancy risk. So that's why I'm like, aside from it not being Zach's child, she could possibly be in a situation where she has a miscarriage, or she has a child born and the child might have a deformity or some sort of disability or something along those lines. Because I did some research and I'm like, yeah, that's something to really take into consideration. And to be completely honest, with the way Karen's been acting lately in regards to like the recklessness, the emotions, and smoking and drinking, who's to say something isn't already wrong? And like I said, I'm a guy, I don't know this stuff. Some people were saying like she can't know she's pregnant until 2 months after. Is that true? I don't know if that's true. I don't, because all I can think about is the haves and the have-nots after Professor Cannon raped Amanda, and then like the next morning she took a pregnancy test and it was positive, and then she freaked out about it. But then Candace told her parents like there's no way she could have known she was pregnant the morning after. That was a bad test. And okay, we'll get to the bad test stuff later on. So over at Maurice and Calvin's apartment, him and Q are waiting on the sofa, and basically Q was like, hey, you want to mess around before the cops come? And Maurice's like, hell no. And then, hey, will you write me? No, I'm not a bad person. I just make bad decisions. And it's just, I didn't care for this scene. I'm sorry if there are Maurice and Q shippers. I mean, this scene, and he asked to use the restroom. And I'm like, I don't like that, because if I were Maurice, I would not have let this guy leave out of my sight whatsoever. Seriously, like, you're going to sit your ass on this couch until the cops come. And that's it. Like, I mean, I hate to say like that. I just woke up, so my mind is kind of little. But basically, we don't know what he did in that bathroom. I mean, well, I know that sounds messed up because I sure as hell don't want to know. But given the fact that he just was left alone for an undisclosed amount of time, who knows what he put in the bathroom? Who knows if he planted something there, like some drugs or something, to get Maurice arrested? I don't know. But we go over to Hayden, and he's still on that bull crap as well. Binky Barnes on the phone, just trying to find out how the heck Zach got that stock intel. And he learned that, wait, millionaire? Holy crap, what's going on here? What was it called? Belanisa, I think that's the name of the stock that he invested in. And he was trying to also contact somebody from Security and Exchange named Bill Watts. So Hayden is making his rounds to find out what the heck happened and how Zach got all this money. All right, so Fatima's on her way out of the job, basically stops by to see Andy to see if she needs anything. And Andy is like, no, it's good. And she asked if Fatima told Zach about the Karen situation. And he said, yeah, but I said Yeah, I mean, yeah, I told him about it, but I told him not to call Karen or anything like that. And basically she's apologizing again, and thankfully Andy shuts that down. Look, you have nothing to apologize for. Karen's going to feel the way she feels, but hey, if you want to be with Zach, then be with Zach, and that's about it. And instead of letting Fatima walk out alone, she's like, "Hey, wait up! I'll go out there. I'll go outside with you." I'm like, "Oh, that's great." So even though I'm not the biggest Andy fan, I really do enjoy the budding friendship between these two. I really do. Okay, so Danny is over at her place. Preston's still not answering her calls. She leaves a voicemail, and then Sabrina comes over. And of course, Danny mentions the fact that Karen isn't answering her phone, so Sabrina calls and she answers. And of course, she's still sad over the situation she's dealing with right now. And, she's pretty much informed about the strip club eating stuff. And Karen asks, is Andy going to be there? Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's going. Oh, well, she didn't tell you about what happened? Wait, what are you talking about? I'll think about it. I'll text you if I want to go. So that's about it when it comes to Karen. I know Danny's in her feelings because Karen wouldn't answer the phone when she called, but would answer the phone when Sabrina did. I mean, she probably thought Danny was calling just to check on her in regards to her feelings about the whole Zach thing. So after, the Karen thing is taken care of, we get a little powwow between Danny and Sabrina. Just both kind of talking about their situations. Danny's upset about the Preston thing, the fact that he's not calling when he said he'd call. First, it's like, oh, well, he fell asleep because he was tired. Next thing you know, I overheard him talking with that Alice, complimenting her on her sundress and everything. And basically, Sabrina is being the rational one for a change. I mean, well, then again, it's pretty much how it goes. If Sabrina's on something and she's tripping, Danny's the one to talk rationality, especially if she's high. And then, vice versa. If Danny's in her feelings, it's like Danny jumps to conclusions while Sabrina's just easily influenced by another person's thoughts about a particular person or thing, mainly Calvin. But she just says, look, you've said a lot of things about Preston, but you've never said he's been a liar. So I say give him the benefit of the doubt. And Danny's like, yeah, okay, fine. But if he doesn't call tonight, then it's on. And she also is like, hey, Sabrina, why don't you call and check on Calvin? Oh, Calvin's on his way back already. His dad is okay. And then I was like, wait a minute, what? Because I thought about it and I tweeted out. I'm like, okay, so the show takes place in Atlanta. His dad's in Florida. I've never been on a plane myself, but I guess maybe taking a flight to Florida from Atlanta is relatively short. And perhaps, he just went down there, checked on his dad, and came straight back. Like I said before, they could have easily just written Calvin out of the season until season 4, since there's only 2 episodes left. But whatever. So he did tell Maurice later on that the flight went both ways, like it was a to and from trip, like it was a damn Uber. I don't know. But regardless, we go over to Andy's apartment. Gary packed up his little shit and he's about to leave when Andy comes home. And Andy, basically, Gary's about to talk. He's like, oh, I packed up my stuff. I'm about to leave, but I just wanted to stick around to talk to you. And thankfully, Andy makes this scene a hell of a lot shorter than it needed to be. Yeah. Basically, she made this scene a lot shorter than it most likely would have been if she would have let Gary talk. She basically verbatim tells Gary what he was going to say before he says it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to act that way. I'm going through a lot. I'll get a new therapist. But then he's like, hey, you're right. But there's something else. The girl, Gabrielle, I knew her. I know her, the one you had a threesome with. So you get mad about me allegedly cheating, but here you are doing threesomes and whatnot. Is this the kind of person you are now? I'm not going to lie. The cheater has a point. But it's funny because Andy says, well, hey, I talked to Gabrielle after the threesome and everything, and she actually posted a picture on her page. I looked her up, a selfie, and this was from 2 days ago. But the interesting thing is, you were in it, Gary. At least your ass. And Gary, I know your ass. So, I guess they both did it with the same girl. I was like, wait a minute. So, are we going to see Andy, Gary, and Gabrielle in another threesome? Hell, Robin might join in for a foursome. I don't know. So, yeah. The photo that was posted lines up to the last time Gary said he was going to the gym. So, yeah. He just up and leaves after criticizing, this little place here ain't nothing. Be careful of what? Saying something you regret. And here's the part that made me mad. So as soon as Gary leaves, this woman starts breaking down, crying like, nope, here we go with the bullshit. As soon as Andy cries, you know what that means. Well, then again, she ain't got nobody to vent to right now, because this is the time where she would usually run over to Karen's salon or to her apartment to talk about how Gary ain't shit without recognizing the fact that you've done foul yourself. What's that saying? You play stupid game, you win stupid prizes. So, I don't know. Okay, so Zach comes back to the salon. Pam's at the front desk, of course. This man has a bag full of tests. I'm like, damn, are there like 40 in there? He got like a dang, Food Lion or just a general store plastic bag, and he's tripping on the fact that Pam can see through it. It's like, how do you see through this bag? I'm like, it's not that hard, Zach. It's a white, transparent bag. It isn't like clear like water, but it's still pretty easy to identify, especially if the bag is like crowded with stuff and the pregnancy test like pressed up against it. Yeah, it's easy to tell what it is. But, Karen comes out and she puts Pam on blast, basically saying, stop being nosy. If anybody finds out about what's going on right now, your ass is fired. Okay, there's too much drama in here. I'm like, damn, so Pam is excusing herself from the drama? That's interesting. So, she goes to the back to take some tests. And, I think she even asked Zach, why you get so many? I just had to be sure. And hell, Pam's like, what do you do? What'd you do that for, Zach? I got pregnancy tests in the back. Wait, what? Yeah, that's right, because earlier Karen said they don't have any in the shop. To be honest, I don't think she was lying because, well, you know how Pam is. She probably has, like, Joel Osteen level secrets hidden behind the walls that Karen doesn't know about. I don't know if she got $600,000 stashed behind one of the bathroom toilets, but I'm pretty sure Pam has some nook and crannies that even Karen doesn't know about in this building. All right, so while, Zach is at the salon, Fatima calls him, and yeah, Zach pretty much explains, hey, I'm at the salon now, and look, Zach, I told you not to call. Yeah, I didn't call Karen. I came over here to confront her. There's something going on, and look, I will tell you as soon as I get there to see you in person, but I do have to stop by the house first because I do need to sign the paperwork to close it. And Fatima just straight up says, Zach, I don't like this. And I think I made the joke before that, yeah, she's stealing Sabrina's line now. But as soon as they get off the phone, Fatima's like, I'm sick of Karen and all this drama. I'm like, yeah, aren't we all, Fatima? Aren't we all? So the police come over to Maurice's apartment, and basically Q's name is Quincy Delento, and he's getting handcuffed. Calvin comes in randomly. I'm not an expert on this kind of thing, but is Calvin just allowed to stroll on into an active arrest? I know he is half owner of this apartment, but is he just allowed to do that? I mean, there were two cops, right? Wasn't there one cop on the other side of the door? So wouldn't it be like, excuse me, sir, we actually have somebody under arrest here, and we just need you to stand in the hallway until we're done. This is kind of like, when the police were all over the bank and Karen came in and went over to Sabrina to deposit the check, the $72,000 check. And I'm like, how the hell did Sabrina do that? I mean, this is an active crime scene after a bank robbery. You'd think that nobody would be able to do any transactions, but they just did. I'm not going to harp on it too much because I'm not an expert, but someone in the comments, please confirm if that's true or not. If Calvin can just stroll on in there. But in any case, Q's like, I don't want to go. Bye, Q. You going to write me? You going to call me? Yeah, I will. And then they just leave, and Calvin is just like kind of over the top here. I don't know. The way he was acting, I'm like, okay, now I kind of see why people think the way they do. But in any case, he just wants to figure out what the hell's going on with Q, and like, why'd you say you call and write him? No, I just told him whatever it took to get him out of here. So people want me to talk about, Jeremy, why do you think Q keeps saying I'm going to be dead soon? I have no idea. Like I said before, and this isn't to harp on the actors because this isn't about them. I'm talking to characters. I honestly do not care whatsoever about the Q storyline. I feel like it could have went so many different ways that would have been better for Maurice, but they just had to go the route of bank robber and then try to make him like a troubled man with a heart of gold. No, you can't do that. It's just like on The Oval season 2 when it was revealed that Jason killed Denise, his grandmother, and Jean to his parents. And then out of nowhere, it's because you didn't love me. No, you can't do that damn storyline now. It's not going to work because who's going to feel sorry for this little serial killer? So I feel the same way about Q doing these drugs and then trying to rob the bank at gunpoint. I mean, perhaps that means he recognizes I've been making so many bad decisions that I'm going to end up dead soon. Or perhaps he has some sort of addiction to a certain drug that'll, kill him eventually. Or perhaps he's been running with the wrong crowd, working for some people with some high level in the streets, and because he's messed up one too many times or he owes people money, he's going to be dead soon. I don't know. I was thinking like, please, Lord God, don't let this man pull a Justin and then tell Maurice that he has some sort of STD or something. I don't know. But regardless, he's gone, and good riddance for all I care. And, Calvin and Maurice kind of go back and forth, blah, blah, blah. And then they ain't really much to talk about. Okay, so Karen comes out of the back, and they're waiting on the results. Because she said, I'm sorry it took so long. I didn't have to pee. Yeah, we'll get back to that. So while they sit there, I think she had, 2 tests in her hand. She put, on a little table. And she was standing up. Zach was sitting down. And we're just back to the same old, where she wants Zach to say what he's thinking, but he just pretty much says, look, it's your call on what you want to do with your body. Well, I ain't getting no abortion. I mean, because he's pretty much like, are you sure you want this baby? And Zach just says, fine, do what's best for you. I'm going to do what's best for this baby. No matter what you decide, we won't be together. Yeah, you made that clear, Zach. So what you need to do is you call me when you figure out, what kind of situation you were in with the pastor, Aaron, because this is after they learned that it is positive. And he says, look, let me know what my role is going to be. If you need me for money, if you need me for fatherhood, whatever my role is supposed to be, let me know. So after that, Zach just leaves. And of course, yeah, fine. You being an asshole and everything. I'm not saying Zach wasn't rude at all, but he looked like a saint compared to how you were acting, Karen. This isn't me taking Zach's side. This is me looking at how both of you have been reacting to this situation since you told him I'm pregnant. Zach has been trying to process this, look through every single variable, but you literally shoot everything he says down, even when he's putting the decision in your hands. So I don't know what else to say. So Pam checks to see if she's okay. And she promises she won't tell anybody about this. And I'm like, let me put it this way. This was a sweet scene. It really was. This easily made me like Pam a lot more. I never hated the character. I've even said that many times on the channel that I understand her role and she plays it well. Yes, we all know a Pam and it could be annoying, but this scene I really love because hey, I'm good at being a babysitter. And Karen's like, look, one day at a time, okay? So, and then she hugs her and everything. And it was just the kind of thing we really need. And this really reinforces why Karen needs Pam around. Because Pam is to Karen what Maurice is to Sabrina, what Zach is to Danny, what Fatima is to Andy in their respective workplaces. Somebody they can confide in and comfort them when they need it. So, we get over to the last scene. Okay, well, let's just skip over to the very end. Zach is meeting with the realtor, Kay Singleton, who will be appearing next week in the Oval as the second lady. And, he fills out the dotted line. He signs the dotted line to close the deal on his house and gets handed the keys. And not to make this personal, because I've talked about this enough in 2021, I cannot wait for the day I am able to do the same damn thing. Trust and believe that. So I was thinking she would make one more pass at him, but you could kind of tell by the way she was looking him up and down that she wanted a piece of that. And Zach is, just letting it soak in. And we actually either saw somebody's car lights pull up or we just heard it. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, is this Fatima coming over here? But no, actually it is Hayden. And he comes in and confronts him about the insider trading. I'm like, oh shit. So the pre-final scene, that is at Club Eden. And this scene made me go, oh man, this is just awful. So yeah, Club Eden. We didn't see Lady Eve. We didn't see Blue. We didn't see Amp. Who's to say we don't see those characters next week? I don't know. But Sabrina and Danny, as always, are the first ones there. And you could tell Sabrina is already kind of drunk, because I think her and Danny had 1 or 2 drinks while they were at Danny's place. She's in a new dress, and I thought she looked pretty good. I tweeted this out, but if you remember this children's book called The Rainbow Fish, that's what her dress reminded me of. And that's not meant as a joke. Like, I loved it. She looked good. But I could already tell, like, the way she was, like, kind of drunk / high, because apparently she popped a Valium that's making her come down now. I'm like, yeah, she's definitely going to tell the women about that Zach millionaire status crap, and then that's going to lead to a whole thing. But this is the part, and look, I even rewatched the scene this morning, so let me know if I took it out of context. But a couple episodes ago, she told Maurice that she was going to have an open mind and try that freaky stuff that Calvin wants. But then in this episode, she's telling Danny that, I want to be with Calvin. I would be with him right now if I could only take that one freaky part away from him. And then she even says, like, whenever I'm with him sexually, I'll just pop a pill and do what he wants. Like I said, maybe, look, I looked at the scene twice. Maybe I'm wrong. Please tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me, I hope I'm wrong. But that's awful. There are just so many things I could say about that. But that is just awful. You getting high in order to have sex with this man. Tyler Perry, do better by this character. Seriously. Okay, so Andy shows up and asks about the Karen situation. Well, actually, the girls ask about the Karen situation because they talked to her, but she mentions, first of all, and this is something important. Well, Karen came by the law firm today with a certified letter, which I'm handling. Remember, her saying that pretty much confirms up front that the letter that Karen received and then rushed off to see Andy about at the law firm was indeed another letter about the Jasmine lawsuit that she's placing on Andy and her friends. So that certified letter had nothing to do with the salon. It had nothing to do with some pregnancy stuff some people were speculating about. But no, that certified letter had everything to do with Jasmine suing Andy and her girls. So apart from that, she talks about how Karen walked in right as I was telling Fatima to go for it with Zach. And then the girls get on her case about it. Andy, why'd you do that? You know that Karen's still in love with him. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure that, Zach already said move on, because Fatima and Zach both said they loved each other. And they pretty much said, well, you're not supposed to tell her that because, Karen and this. And then Andy goes on to say, well, yeah, I know Karen still loves him and everything, but at this point, she's looking pretty pathetic. And even though she's absolutely right about that, it's like they say, it isn't what you say is how you say it. But then it's also one of those things where the pot calling the kettle black, because, and I hate to say this because all these women are pathetic in their own right, but out of everyone, Andy is the last person who should be calling somebody pathetic because of how her ass has been acting the entire series. Having a 6-month affair with a married man. Pining after him because he promises day in and day out that he'll leave his wife to come stay with you. You almost lose your career, your home, all of your belongings, all of your money because of this man, yet you still want to be with him. You cry to Karen every time he does something to piss you off, and then you have sex with another man. Hell, you just even had a threesome. And yet you still love Gary. I still love him. And you have the balls. I know this episode is called Curveballs. And you have the nerve to call Karen pathetic. Again, I'm not saying Karen isn't acting pathetic, but Andy should be the last person to call somebody else that, specifically a woman pining after a man. So Karen actually rolls up mid-conversation and wants to know, so how much of the story do you know? And she pretty much, as soon as she sits down, she's still on that bullshit about her not accepting that Zach's moved on because he hasn't said it. Even though Danny and Andy pretty much said, Karen, he said it. And I mean, Danny, like, yeah, he did. I was there. He said it a lot. But, Sabrina's still doing, Karen's still doing this crap. So this is the part that really had me going, okay, I just can't, Tyler Perry, I can't roll with this anymore. Sabrina, and look, this isn't the part, because we all knew Sabrina was going to say, guys, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but yeah, stock wins, Zach's millionaire now. Karen, she can't even bring herself to speak. And Danny, out of nowhere, she's like, I want to talk to him. He got the nerve to not tell me about that. Yeah, he even bought a house. He signed the paperwork today. A house and money? Oh, yeah, I'm talking to Zach. Karen, what's wrong, Karen? Are you mad? Are you mad as hell? Yeah, Karen, you have every right to be mad. I mean, you're the one who helped him get to where he is today. And then El Fuego comes out and then he starts dancing just a little bit. I tweeted out, yeah, this is tame compared to All the Queen's Men. But then in the preview for next week, we see Sabrina on stage too. But, okay, if there was a scene to dissect, it would be this one. What the hell? First of all, Sabrina needs her ass fired. Because people were saying, yeah, you're right, Jeremy. Zach did encourage her because he knew she would tell the women anyway. But regardless, that's against company policy for her to just straight up do that. Not to mention the fact that Danny, when Zach got his first stock win and got like, what was it, like $700,000+, he told you hypothetically, if you had a big financial windfall, what would you do, Danny? I don't know, pay off my student loans, do this, do that. Well, here's what I'm going to do. I would buy a duplex. I would buy, a car. I'd do this and that. I'd pay up front just enough so that the monthly payments weren't big, and that will help my credit out. So Zach literally thanked you because you're the one who hooked him up with the job. I mean, that's the reason I didn't quit my job up front. I put in my notice, and I'm here working every day as respect to you because you're the one that got me the job in the first place. He pretty much told Danny more about his plans than even Fatima. So why does she feel entitled and obligated to know that he's gotten yet another financial windfall, and he's getting the house, even though he told her about the first thing? Now, it could be argued that Danny could, and I don't even want to say the word deserves, could get like a little slice. I'm not saying like $1 million, somebody if Zach slid her a little piece of change. I don't even think he needs to do that because remember, he paid for like half a month's rent and she kicked him out less than 2 weeks after, Preston's coming over and you sleeping with Fatima and yada yada, and with Zach and with Karen. Get out of here, Zach. No. But in terms of being like a good friend that's held him down, yeah, I think Danny. That's why I said in one of my other videos a couple weeks ago, if Danny got her act right with Preston, I would love if Danny and Preston moved in right beside Zach and Fatima. I would love that. But no, Danny's still in that bullshit. And it's just crazy to me how Tyler writes it where one episode, the women or maybe one of the women could give good advice to a character like Karen giving advice to Andy or Danny giving advice to Andy, and they'll be in the right. And then the girl they're giving advice to doesn't want to hear it, but they're right. And then the very next episode, these same women who are telling Karen, look, yeah, you need to move on, they're ganging up on Andy. He's like, why would you do that, Andy? Why would you tell her that? What? This is the shit I hate as we get close to a season finale. Remember how I went off about the season 2 finale? I feel like I'm going to have to do the same crap about the season 3 finale. And this was only the penultimate episode. This is stupid. It is really, really, really stupid. But here we are. And remember, the girls don't even know she's pregnant. So, yeah, there are a lot of things that can be said about a pregnancy test and whatnot. Like, did Pam pee on the stick instead of Karen? Did she get a bad test? Should they go to the doctor to make sure she's actually pregnant? Who knows? But all I'm saying is this. This episode, it started off promising, but the more I looked into it, the more I didn't like it. I didn't hate it. I didn't loathe it. Remember, a 5.5 is relatively decent, meaning that I feel like for the most part, yeah, more than half 5.5, that is, it was good, but last week I feel was miles and away better. And no, it's not because we didn't get as much Fatima scenes or anything like that. It's just that Karen was really insufferable, whereas last week I could really feel the emotion in her performance, but this week she was just really bitchy. I didn't care about the Maurice and Q stuff. That was stupid. Calvin was just there, even though he really had no reason to be there. Sabrina just blabs her mouth and she should be fired. It's funny how she told Maurice about a couple of times that, you know, hey, you almost got fired and I saved you, yet you're the one out here blabbing personal client information to friends of yours. So there's that. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think I was too harsh on the episode? And remember, I'm speaking from the perspective of a fan just watching the entire episode, not as a diehard Zatima fan. It's like, oh no, Karen's pregnant. My thing about Karen being pregnant is the fact that she immediately pushed the responsibility on Zach without even considering that Aaron could be the father. And I mean, it's funny because she didn't even mention Aaron. I mean, Zach was the one to do it. So it's almost, that just shows you how little she cares about Aaron to not even think, well, maybe he could be the father and maybe that wouldn't be so bad. But no, it's Zach and what he's going to do. So yeah, let me know your thoughts below, like and subscribe. And if you would like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App.